Welcome to the CulverCast, Episode 8, The Town of Culver, featuring Kevin, Danti, Hanna Croy, and Shane Martin.
Welcome to the CulverCast, Episode 8. We have Mr. Kevin Danti with us, who is the Culver Town Manager, newly, first year in. So welcome. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come talk with us.
Thank you for the invite. Appreciate
it. Yeah.
What's a typical day for you as a town manager look like?
That's interesting. One of the things I like about the job, one of the things that I find appealing about the job is no one day is the same. So when I wake up, a lot of times I will have things on my agenda. Oftentimes it will be meeting with regional groups about economic decisions that are being made. I'm currently meeting with a housing development that is semi-popular, unpopular, depends on your perspective in town. It's referred to the dunes. So that work alone has educated me in tax incremental funds, things I did not understand when I first took the job, but spent time educating myself. Working with Bob Porter is a lot of fun. Your utilities manager. You may have met Wayne Bean. I hope you haven't, or Chad Becker, our officers. I work with them. A typical day oftentimes finds me in the office behind the computer, but the nice part is I can get out and move across town and talk to people. So typical day is just basically managing from an economic standpoint. Finding a dog. Recently, we've had dogs out.
I saw those emails.
Yeah,
yes.
I get blasted about dogs, so it can be something incredibly pedestrian or something highly complicated. So it's a lot of fun.
I feel like people weren't. It was like every 2 minutes. Is this your dog? Is this your dog?
Right. We have rampant packs of dogs and rocks. Apparently, rocks are a problem in Culver. We're anti-rock in this town. I make a joke, but it's really just addressing what the people need me to do on a daily basis to keep us running. So.
What is the most bizarre request you've had that you can say publicly that you've had as a town manager?
I wouldn't say. I don't like the word bizarre. I'm gonna back that up a little bit because I want to be respectful. Everybody has their perspective. One thing that I found interesting recently out at the dunes, if you drive down Main Street out by that big field, you'll see the orange little fence sitting up. That's called silt fence. The person living across is not very happy about the dunes, and I dig that. I get it because they're living right across from a beautiful western field, the sunset, right? And now you're going to get a housing division. So I think there's room for that. She requested something other than the color orange because she said she likes black, anything but orange. She hates orange. And I said,
well,
come
we
on.
all take offense to that.
I was going to say, I used that in the town meeting. I said, come on, rally behind your local school. Let's go. Get community, right? So
that's awesome.
That was one. Yeah.
Okay, so for the town, there are awesome things going on every weekend, I feel like, especially in the summertime with people coming into town. What are some of your favorite events that this town has that you enjoyed in the past as with your daughter, wife going to? What are some things that you like to do in the town?
Those are good memories. I really want to thank Andrea Kanachi and Amber Cal. They kind of run the beach lodge and the park and run our tourism and events. They do a wonderful job and they're really dedicated and they're trying to find new ways of reaching out to young people. One of the mantras at Culver and our slogan is Culver as a destination. And so many times, I mean, growing up, you feel like somebody just comes to your town and uses it as a playground, but we mean that for local people as well. We want to be able to enjoy. One of the things that are on our mind is accessing the lake more for local people. How do we get on? Although I wasn't a resident here growing up, I moved away when I was a kid and went to the big school of Tri-County, which is actually smaller than Culver. Put that into your head. But I came back here every summer and I was kind of a local kid, hanging out with my grandparents in town. And I accessed Little Hawks Lake on a rowboat. And that was my fun. I couldn't get on the big lake very often because there wasn't room. Right? There's one point where we access it in town as a community, and that's the beach and the park. And one of the things that I loved growing up with my daughter, who graduated from here last year, was that we used to go up to Lake Fest and she always wanted to ride the rides. And that was the time that I was her favorite because I was the pocketbook. She knew she could just give me a smile and I'd give her money where mom would say no. So
we're getting to that point with our child.
Yeah, seriously, it's a good time. You might as well, Justin, you might as well get the wallet out, buddy. You're a walking ATM. But that and elephant ears, man, you can't ask for anything better than that. I'm a cinnamon sugar dough junkie. So like you bring a Cardi in with elephant ears, I'm there.
Oh yeah.
So
Lake Fest
is my
still
favorite.
huge. Yeah, still huge today.
It is.
There's a lot of our students are involved heavily with Lake Fest, which makes it a fun event for the school as well.
The teams and Andrea's volunteers,
yeah.
volleyball. We really appreciate all the work that the community puts in to make it successful. So.
Yes. Yeah. Great. So, what are ways that not just community kids, but even just year-round community members can get involved with things going on in town meetings or and different things that we can do.
I'm really appreciating that question, because one of the things I'm finding in 8 months is, for better or worse, we oftentimes get reverb. We get the same people saying the same thing, echoes, right? And a lot of times what I'm finding is people step up and want to talk for the town. But I see that there's an absence of people from the town. I don't see that representation all the way through. And that a lot of times people are taking the license to speak for the town of Culver. One of the things that I've talked to when I talk to students in the school is that the town of Culver really represents School Street for you guys. Most of your town experience exists on this street, at sporting events, coming to town, talking to your friends. You really don't have a place in town that you have a footprint. You don't have access to this town. You have people speaking for you. One of the things I want to encourage, and I'm trying to, Marlene Muller, who's our township trustee, is trying to arrange, I need to get out and talk to people who live in 2-mile zones of Culver. Because there are people who still are involved in this town but can't afford to live here. That really bothers me. We have got to do a better job of incorporating more voices to create a harmony, not just a single-mindedness. In Culver, you're going to realize there are 3 distinct crowds here. There's the lake, there's the academy, right? And you guys are familiar with that. And then there's community. And one of those is out of balance right now, and I think it's the community. I think we need to bring that voice back in and provide access for you guys. One of the things I really want to do is get students involved volunteering. I'm coming over to coach for a reason. I want to get involved with the school here. I grew up in a very small school like this. It's familiar to me. I was in FFA, and I value this kind of community. But I want to bring it back into town more, and that's where you guys can help me. Get involved, look for opportunities, right? There's money in Culver and there's opportunity in Culver. You need to find a way to access that money on the lake and, the crowd, and find ways of being original. And if you guys know of anybody who's going to be 18 graduating this year, we need a couple positions with our utilities, Bob Porter and working summer, and pays pretty decent. And it's a good time doing a little painting, a little bit of mowing. It's not a hard job, but if you think of anybody, tell your buddies. So,
is there anything in the works that you can speak about? I know there was talk, I don't know, last year, maybe year before, about like a teen area down at the beach. Is there anything in the works with that to get the kids off? Because they start school street, pre-K to 12, like that. Yeah, we're right up and down the street.
Absolutely. So you guys probably know Susie from Cafe Max. Also a lady by the name of Diane Hansen. And they've approached me both about having money and trying to find availability for a space for you guys to hang out on a Friday night or a Saturday night, right? Just providing some games, pool tables, whatever. I've talked to Amber Cal about the bottom of the beach lodge, and we're still in discussions with that. I can't promise anything, but it's looking fairly good that we're going to try to develop a space for you guys to use. There's other places too. I mean, the basketball court was kind of nice when we redid it for people to go up and do things, but
I feel like it's busy all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
And people are into this pickleball, so I try to find, I've always been a bocce ball player. Look it up online, but trying to find simple parks, things for you guys to do. I mean, I cruised up and down a single road over and over again when I was your age, so that was pretty boring, but it seemed to pass the time. But yeah, that's, finding that place. Beach House right now, always there's somebody talking about the old movie theater. But I'm starting to get a little bit more serious vibe about that. I'm starting to feel like there's some money and there's some discussions happening, but I don't know where that's at because that's kind of on a private sector.
Right. I feel like a sign goes up, sign comes down.
I tell you what,
sign comes down.
The greatest tease of the town, man. If we had a dime for every time I heard a rumor about it, I'd be rich. So yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, trying to get some things for you guys.
Okay.
Cheer is up and coming. Practice will start in June. Middle and high school students will practice together. Parades will start in the summer. The parades will be the Lakefest Parade, Monterey Parade, and the Blueberry Parade. They will also be marching in the Blueberry Parade with the band. August 3rd is the first competition. On September 7th, Culver will host their first ever competition. The cheerleaders will have a total of 6 competitions and hope to go to state in October.
What is your favorite part about being the town manager?
Definitely. I'm a people person. I was painfully shy as a kid, and people just pass out when I say that. But I've learned to really enjoy having conversations, like meeting people one-on-one and trying to meet them where they're at, right? Sometimes that's not in a good place. Sometimes I'm catching a lot of frustration, a lot of history of the wrongs. But I like having those conversations, even when they're difficult. I think people are incredibly interesting, and sometimes we forget, that they're probably not only our greatest assets, but they're really what community's about. I remember my daughter when so her freshman year, she went over to the academy, and she wanted to get back here. And I remember that conversation so well because I said, "So what's the difference?" And she goes, "People know me." Like, because she was here from the time she was in kindergarten. That was the world to her, man. It wasn't necessarily about school. It was about a community, right? And so it's kind of cool that it's Culver Community, because I think it's the number one trait that you guys have is tighter relationships than you find in other places.
Because I'm not from Culver, so when I came to Culver, I asked Justin over like, "How's this person connected to this?" Or he'll be like, "Oh, well, that's so and so's brother or
Right.
uncle," and I'm like, everyone is connected here
That's
one way.
that's generational stuff. A little known fact. I'll give him a shout out here. Paul Widman, who does the bus and all that good stuff. Paul's got the same haircut since I was about 2 years old. He's my godfather. So I've even got a few connections.
Well, that's a new one to me. Yeah, because then that's his daughter, and I was like, what? Like, yeah. So yeah, having that in this area is still crazy to me.
Sure.
To see all the connections
Sure.
there. So because I think our kid is 7th generation, so they've been around here for
Been around a long time.
Yeah, have been around a long time.
Yeah, my wife runs around with Justin's mom. So
Yes,
yeah.
What do you vision Culver will be like within 20 years from now?
You know what? If I were to answer that question, I think it would be really arrogant on my part. Like, my vision isn't necessarily the vision. What I hope for, right? What I really do hope for is a community that when somebody walks into it can see the balance of all three constituents. That, and I say three constituents, I may be overstating it, but I would love to see them see a community that's blended in terms of its outlook, right? In terms of the housing, in terms of, I think one of the things that troubles people that live here is that we're really kind of moving towards a result recreational town when 48% of our population we're a second home, right? We've watched our numbers drop from 1,500 down to just above 1,000 in terms of population. But look at the housing prices in Culver, right? It's incredible. I love a town that's accessible. Whatever that looks like, whatever that means, I want it to be accessible to people who want to live and be part of this community. And that's going to require some adjustments on housing. It's going to try to provide opportunities to be able to work here and be here. And it's going to have to provide you guys with opportunities to want to come home, right? To come back to Culver.
That leads to the next question is what is the town doing to help retain after these kids graduate? And they're like, I want to get out, I want to go. Like, do you see happening in order to get these kids back here or to keep them here after graduation?
Yeah, I think that's the key, isn't it? It's in our 2040 comprehensive plan, but I think those are framed in such idealistic ways. I think the number one thing we have to do is provide opportunity for you guys to be able to run businesses that are entrepreneurial, that allow you to access the money that exists here. Whatever those markets look like, I mean, they could be as crazy as opening a basket weaving shop, right? Some type of craft, or starting a computer startup, right? Or being an outsource. We've got to provide opportunities for younger people to come here and want to live. That means arts and culture, entertainment, theaters, things to do where you don't have to drive to Mishawaka or Plymouth, right? To find something to do. We have to provide those opportunities for you guys. I think that we have to. The one thing that I found, I left the cornfields, right? I couldn't wait to get out when I was 18. I went down to Purdue, spent the best 8 years of my life there. I took my time. Moved to Philadelphia, but the minute my daughter was born, I wanted to come back. I was in my 30s. That's what I want you guys to do. Why don't you go out, experience the world, and then bring what you've learned back to Culver. Find a place to start your families and send them to the same school that you went to, the same community that raised you guys, and find a way to be able to have a living here, be able to live here in affordable or workforce housing. Sorry, we can't say affordable.
I just learned that. My dad
oh my
just said
gosh,
this
it's
weekend.
such a buzzword.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Expensive.
Yeah.
How about this? Mortgages that don't require your life to pay off.
Right.
But find a way to have you guys have access to a community where you can come back to. I think it's healthy to leave. But I think we want to have you back when you're about 30, coming back to start your families. That'd be great.
So how can people? I'm almost 35. I'm almost in my mid 30s. So like my age and a younger, like 18 to 35, 40. What opportunities are there for us to get involved in? I feel like it's the same people on the same boards in town. Like
you just answered your own question. I've got to have. I mean, that's what I was kind of referencing with some of there are well-intended people who volunteer. Right, that's why they're volunteering. They're well-intended people who come to meetings, but we got to have younger voices in there town hall meetings. You're letting somebody else represent you. You're letting somebody else speak for you. If you're not going to volunteer and you're not going to come in, and I get it, working parents and people have jobs, they have responsibilities, they have kids, but I've got to find a way to capture those voices and stop having somebody else speak for the town as if it's a singular thing. I would encourage you guys to get involved. And the only way we're going to make town younger is to get you involved in it, right?
So we're talking even high school age kids. These
I'm
kids
talking
could
high
go
school age.
down
Why
and-
not?
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, are you invested? Do you have an interest in this town? You do. You go to school here, right? Are you bored stiff on a Friday night because there's nothing to do? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely you are. So what is it that we need to do? Don't let somebody else talk for you. I've got an email, I got a phone call. Just because you're 14 or 15 doesn't mean your idea is any less than somebody who's 35. Right?
And what I was doing at 14 or 15 is not what you guys are doing, because the times we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have
Not at all.
I don't think I'm that old, but then I look back like you guys
Right.
have, there's
right.
so even someone my age speaking for 14, 15-year-olds.
Taught school for 18 years. I was always amazed. I taught freshmen. I was always amazed at how much they taught me, because I'm so fossilized in the old ideas that I thought I knew, and then they made me see something new for the first time. A question, right? That's where I need you guys to come in. I hope.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, I really do appreciate the opportunity. I'm going to take off my glasses for effect. It makes me look smarter when I hold my glasses. No, I'm kidding. Nothing makes me look smarter. Listen, I am absolutely sincere. I've been trying to work with groups of students. I missed last month. I'm a horrible human being. I want to confess that onto the camera. But I've been trying to come over to community to sit and talk with people, right? I really want to know what you guys think, and I don't want to hear it secondhand, right? I hate that. If you guys ever have an idea, a concern, or a question, I'm up at town hall. I have email, I'm phone. I'm going to be coaching here on Friday nights and coming around school for practices, and I'm really digging that, getting back into football, and especially on that on a level with good people to work with. Some guy sitting behind the computer there. There's a lot for me to still learn from their perspective. So make yourself accessible to me. Say hi. Say crazy things to me or random things when you see me in town. Just
The worst thing you can hear is no.
No, that's
So
exactly it.
yeah. Say, hey, I want an amusement park down. They're going to tell you no, but they know that's
How cool! How cool! I'm sorry, I'm going to say this. People are going to get so mad at me up at town hall, but I had this dream of like a zip line that goes across, like over the lake, and you drop off into the lake. I know
that would be really cool.
Right now, somebody's cringing up at town hall because of the liability insurance that would take, but that would be so
Make them
cool.
sign a waiver. It's
I know,
fine.
it's so cool.
It's good.
Anyway, if you guys have ideas, seriously, share them with me. That's what you can do.
Great.
Here are your events for Friday, April 4th to Thursday, April 11th. Saturday, you can catch the boys' baseball team in their home opener against Tri-Township. Monday, there will be an early release for all students due to the solar eclipse. Students will be released 2 hours early this day. On Wednesday, you can watch the varsity girls softball team at home against Culver Academy. On Thursday, boys varsity baseball takes on Culver Academy at home, while middle school softball travels to Winnemac, and the track team is away taking on Triton and Winnemac at their co-ed meet. You can find all of these events on our website, culvercavalierathletics.com.